Now, this is the last control line stunt airplane I built. And I built it back around, I'd have to go back and look, around 2002. It made the cover of Model Aviation in May of 2002. It's a big airplane. I was riding the wave of the four-stroke surge that was going on in control line stunt back in those days. This airplane is equipped with the Sato 72. It turned out a little bit heavy. I put the base coat, clear coat finish on it that Bill Wilson uses, and I think it got a little bit heavy doing that. I'm going to put this and some random other shots of various and sundry other things up on my YouTube channel. But I'm also going to try to shoot this video over to Wendy Erdnowski and Joe Adamusco up in the Northeast. Wendy's in New Jersey, and I think Joe is in Pennsylvania. I guess it was 2008 when they built their Spitfires, powered by Rojet 90 two-stroke engines. But they were absolutely gorgeous airplanes. And I've been talking to Wendy and Joe about getting drawings, and of course, now that Wendy is retired from stunt, or semi-retired hopefully, you know, he didn't have any drawings or anything like that. But he told me to go talk to Joe, and I did, and good gravy, Joe came through for me. He went out into his shop and he dug around. He got me some drawings. He sent me a memory card full of pictures. And good Lord, I'll bet there's 800 pictures on that memory card. The other night I spent 2.5, nearly 3 hours just looking at those pictures. And Joe Adamusco, and Wendy is too, but man, Joe Adamusco is a magnificent craftsman. Probably one of the best I've ever seen in my life. This airplane had a lot of things that I was experimenting with. You'll note that the ailerons were not, or the flaps, they were not just flat plates. They actually rotated in a flap pocket up on the wing, and they were hinged at about the 25% point, and they rolled in that pocket. I was trying to get more effective flaps, and the one thing I didn't account for was not having, see that forward portion, 25%, that's not sticking out in the slipstream, and I was losing that that flap area. So this airplane, even though it would do the full pattern on 69-foot lines, and it flew real good, it could really use more flap because the airplane was, like I said, a little heavy. It's got the tip weight box over here. You can add or take away tip weight. I put a tail weight box back in the tail just in case I needed to add or subtract weight in the tail. The landing gear is removable. The controls are all, I can adjust those controls to whatever ratios I want. If I want 40 degrees flaps and 30 degrees elevator, I can do that. The lead out wires are adjustable. I think there's probably 2 inches of adjustment right there. Of course, most of my airplanes, including the full-scale airplanes, always put little Lori on there, a hat tip to my wife. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's a hatch right back there under the horizontal stabilizer, and that's for adjusting the elevator back there too. The wheel fairings, I can take them off, clean the crud out of them, and put them back together. I was going to put a smoke system in it, but the airplane was starting to get a little bit complicated by then. I originally had the Raby rudder on there, and I liked it, but I got to experimenting there at the end before I retired this airplane. And I thought I'd take it off and just fix the rudder and work at it until I found the absolute optimum rudder throw, and then go back with the Raby rudder. This airplane has probably got 250 flights on it, full pattern flights where I fly the full pattern. The wingspan is 61 3/4 inches. I forget exactly what the area is. I think it's right at about 710 square inches. I was doing a lot of experimenting with prop pitches back in those days. And man, I was carving different I've got a Prather pitch gauge. I don't know if you can see it down there on that particular prop, the lines and the various pitches, and I was experimenting with variable pitches along the prop blade, itself. The old Nimbus. You know, it's hard to name an airplane, but Nimbus roughly means a smoke ring or a cloud around a something in the center. That's roughly what it means. And you know, with these stunt planes, running them pretty much on the rich side, you get a lot of smoke coming out. And so there's always that ring of smoke around the pilot. It's my old AMA number. Did a little bit of ink work, not a whole lot. I've got the rough shop drawings for this airplane. But it's retired now, it'll never fly again. I learned my lesson with my thriller instinct. That was the airplane in 1997 or 1998 that I actually got lucky and won the District 8 championship with that airplane. And then a few years ago I thought I'd get smart and pull it out and start, you know, getting myself back into shape as far as the stunt pattern goes. Probably put 40 flights on it, and the last flight, I don't know what happened. I was coming down the backside of an outside square loop, and I tried to recover, you know, recover inverted, and it went straight in, and it went into 10 million pieces. Oh man, you talk about a heartache. And that was one airplane I did not want to lose. That wing is a triple taper. The taper's in the front and the rear, and of course from the center of the wing out to the tip it tapers out. It's my own design rib, if you can do that. I don't think there's anything new under the sun. But I had the high point at the 25 or maybe the 26% point along the rib. And I think the rib in the center at that point is a little over 3 inches deep. And then it tapers out, of course, back here to a little over 1 inch deep at the 25% point. I spent days carving that cowl. That cowling is balsa blocks carved and hollowed. And that's balsa wood simulated an 0360 Lycoming engine. And that Sato engine, man, that's a sweet running engine. But it was just a tad underpowered for this airplane. And my pilot, spent a lot of time on that pilot. The hair on that pilot, this is going to sound gross, mustache hair, chest hair, hair on top of his head, was hair that I actually shaved from a beard. I think I was wearing a beard back then, and or maybe trimmed my mustache, one of the two. But that hair is my hair, and then I kind of dyed it a little bit darker and put some black highlights in it. Put a headset on him with a microphone going up to his mouth. Spent a lot of time on that pilot. Spent a lot of time on the airplane. This was probably a 6-month build. And then I got in a hurry on the finish, and instead of doing dope and spending 5 months or 4 months on a good dope finish, I went with the automotive stuff. Now Bill Wilson, he's an expert at the automotive finishes, and he can get a real light finish. But man, I can't. Yeah, I think I probably added 10 or 12 ounces to the airplane with that finish. Fuselage has balsa sides back to the front of the flaps, and then it's built up square balsa and fairings from there back. The finish really looks pretty, but man, it's heavy. So anyway, that's my old Nimbus. It's a good flying airplane, just turned out heavy. If I ever build it again, I'll do everything I can to shave about at least 9 or 10 ounces off of it if I can. The old Nimbus. Well, here is Steibers Cub that Jim and I went down to Brownwood to pick up the other day, brought it back. Came down here, or actually up here, for Cliff to do the annual on it and the pre-buy inspection. So I guess it's going to California, I think. It's a pretty airplane. This is the one Jim recovered the fuselage and the landing gear on. First airplane ride I ever had was in a J-3 Cub. I think I was 8 years old on the old Oak Grove Airport. I can throw a stone from here and hit the old runway just to the east of where I'm standing. This little baby sold for $38,000. I don't know if I would have chromed the doggone sticks. For a Cub, I think that's a little overkill. But, you know, it's not my airplane. I wasn't rebuilding it, so, you know, it wasn't rebuilt to my vision. Gorgeous little Cub. Little jack screw goes in there. Stabilizer leading edge goes up and down for trim. Who doesn't love a Cub? Every once in a blue moon you come across a little model that is just so cute that you can't take your eyes off of it. One of our friends brought this Avro. It's a looks like a pretty scale model down for safekeeping, and perhaps even later on donating it to the museum. But man, it is so cute. Whoever built it really did a superb job on it. Looks like it may be covered with polyspan and butyrate dope. It looks like they built it fully intending to fly it. It's got an electric motor on it. It's got servos that work the elevator rudder and the ailerons on the middle wing. It's got that triangular fuselage. Oh man, it's so cute. It is absolutely beautiful. I wish I could see a full-scale example of this. I've been nuts about World War I and previous airplanes all my life. I even antiqued the propeller. The fellow that built it really paid attention to some detail. It's not real, scale, but it's certainly standoff scale. It's scale enough that it just, you look at it, your eyes are just drawn to it, or mine are anyway. And you can't hardly walk away from it. You just got to look at it, look at the fine details. Ailerons are hooked up like they used to hook up, oh good gravy, in the early days of radio control. Oh, don't blow away. It's trying to blow away on me. Anyway, thought I'd get a little footage of this. It's just too cute to pass up. Look at that under-cambered wing. You can really see the under-camber there. Got a working tail skid. I mean, it doesn't turn, but it's bungeed with rubber bands. It's cute. I bet this thing would fly pretty nice. Don't blow away on me, baby. The old Avro. They built some pretty neat airplanes back in the early days. some really neat trainers too. It's too cute. Makes me want to test glide over tall grass. And some of you old timers will know what I'm talking about when I say that. And it looks like it's hot fuel proof. There you go. Well, I can't get rid of my shadow. Oh well, wrong time of the day to be videoing, I guess. But who cares? I like it. I should hide it and then tell Jim that I liked it so much I just brought it home and I'm not giving it back.